We choose Brazil because we think that it has a lot of different kinds of problems. Brazil is located in Latin America. The problems that we are going to talk about is unemployment, income inequality, poverty, deforestation, and corruption. There are a lot of environmental issues going on in this country. The one that I'm going to talk about is deforestation. Deforestation has been a big problem in the Amazon rainforest since people are cutting trees, and this is causing a risk in the climate change. Brazil's fauna and flora has experienced a lot of decline, a huge decline, since people don't stop this problem. Some species that are on the risk of extinction is the jaguar, the spiny rat, the Brazilian mouse, the black-faced lion, and the citolo. This problem can only be solved if people need to be aware of this problem, because they don't know the damage they are causing to their ecosystem and to the forest.
I'm going to talk about poverty. Brazil has about 18 million poor rural people. Brazil's northeast region has the largest concentration of rural poverty in Latin America. These rural people have difficulties accessing education, healthcare, infrastructure, technology, and their water supply is very inadequate. The poorest groups and the most vulnerable groups are women and young people. The poorest 10% only receive 1% of the income. Brazil has these programs and community initiatives to assist the hunger and the homeless. They also ensure that all children from all communities have access to education. And the two main causes of poverty in Brazil are the extremely inequality of land tenure and the lack of access to formal education.
Okay, so I'm talking about unemployment. Unemployment is the lack or absence of employment in a specific area and time, with a previous comparison between years and months. Unemployment is due to the evolution of technology, which is, for example, the creation of new machines that work with less energy, with low costs, compared to the human work. I'm going to show some statistics about Brazil unemployment in the previous months. From January to February, it has increased from 5.3% to 5.9%. In other words, the employment has increased 10%, which refers to 131,000 employees, which adds up to a total of 1.4 million employees in Brazil. And just to make a comparison of employment has also decreased 1%, which is 220,000 employees in Brazil, which adds up to 22.8 million of employees in Brazil, which is very separated. And just to conclude, I searched some nowadays statistics about the future evolution of machines, which is directly proportional to the lack of employment. And by 2020, Brazil will be one of the top 5 countries with machine evolution and technologies.
Well, I'm going to talk about income inequality, which is the fact that the poor are very poor and the rich are very rich. This is like a very common problem in Brazil. You can see here how the rich, and it's just divided by a simple wall. A perfect example for that is the World Cup that just passed last year, which the government and all the income went to the rich parts, like the stadiums and attraction for the tourist people. 10% of the population in Brazil lives only on $1.3 daily, which is like 20 pesos almost. So yeah, but Brazil is the 6th with biggest economy in the world, like the country with the 6th biggest economy in the world. And the problem, you think, why is the biggest economy like not helping the poor people? It's because of the racism, which is focused on the negros, like young negros, that's the way they call them. And that keeps them away from the big economy and not able them to reach out and grow financially.
I'm going to talk about corruption. Corruption, as with several other countries, doesn't exempt Brazil. And I'm going to state 2 facts that reflect this place for corruption inside the Brazilian government. In Rio de Janeiro, we have Anthony Garotinho, which is an ex-governor that was actually convicted in 2010 for apparently being part in a crime organization and for his corruption inside the government. Even though he was incarcerated, his sentence was reduced to only a service community warrant, and now he's back in the presidential race. In addition, we have now in Sao Paulo the presence of an ex-governor, an 83-year-old Paulo Maluf, which is now a member of the Brazilian parliament, that is famous for apparently being part in embezzling over 100 million euros over the years, and now Interpol even has a warrant for his arrest. He is known for his catchphrase "corrupto más fácil," which translates to "corrupto but hands-on." And there's also a verb that is very common inside the Brazilian Portuguese alphabet, which is malufar, that derives from from Paulo's last name, which means actually to steal from the state, and a lot of people use it like in a daily basis. And in 2013, Brazilian people showed their anger and took the streets in protest, and for this reason the Brazilian parliament graded corruption as a capital offense. In conclusion, as with several other countries, Brazil is a country that faces various problematics, which some of them we mentioned during this presentation, and activities like this they help the world to be aware of those issues and together try to make a change and try to find ways to solve them.